kindergartners, and it's all about geometry and different shapes. And the standards are 1.2, identify, describe, and extend simple patterns such as circles and triangles by referring to their shapes, sizes, or colors. 2.2, compare familiar plane and solid objects by commonly or by common attributes, position, shape, size, roundness, number of corners. Standard 1.1, compare the length, weight, and capacity of objects by making direct comparisons with reference objects. 2.1, identify and describe common geometric objects, circle, triangle, square, rectangle, cube, sphere, cone. And then standard 1.1, pose information questions, collect data, and record the results using objects, pictures, and picture graphs. Okay, so I'll probably have them separate into, if I have 30 students, about 6 kids in each group, and they'll be separated throughout the classroom, and they'll be switching around. So if it's not like standardized, like this is activity 1, activity 2, because they'll be going to different places. So the first one is shapes and patterns, and they'll be going to the table, and there'll be a bunch of different shapes and in a basket, and they'll get one of these boards, and they'll have to make a pattern with like different colors or any shape that they have. So there's a few examples that they can do. The geoboard polygons, they'll be using their geoboards and rubber bands, and they'll be making different shapes on geoboards, and then they'll have to make another shape of the same shape but a different size, so either smaller or bigger, and they'll be able to identify which one's bigger and how it's bigger, but it could be the same shape, and they'll record it onto their geoboard. They'll draw it on and color it. And then the scavenger hunt, I'll be having like a bunch of these but bigger sized shapes throughout the classroom, and they'll have to get this piece of paper and this Where's Shape-O worksheet and find the shape and then write down on the line where they found it. So if they found a rectangle on the window and that kind of stuff. And then fill and count. With this activity sheet, they'll be using their the foam manipulative blocks, and they'll be making different shapes using alternative shapes, and then they'll count how many they had to use and compare and contrast how many shapes you can make by using alternative shapes. And then the last activity is how many, and so they'll be at the table, they'll have just a stack of these, and they'll have to find the shapes and then count how many sides there are, and then put the amount of sides on each of the lines. And so the tracking, they'll have, each group will have a sheet, and I'll probably put them into the groups. And so I thought it'd be cool to have buttons as like different source of tracking, but doing it, I found that it's really hard to messy to glue it, so I'll probably do like stamps or something. But each area will have a different colored stamp or a different colored sticker, and then they'll complete it by checking that off. And then since there'll be 6 kids in each group, they can bounce ideas off each other if they don't understand something, and or always refer back to the board.